solving rational equations. So the three-step process I want you to take is to multiply each term on both sides of the equation by the lowest common denominator. Then you'll solve, and then you can actually check your answer. So with our first question here, we're first going to identify what is the lowest common denominator. So we have 3 and 6. Well, what's common is the 6, because 3 can multiply into 6, so that's going to be part of our answer. Then we'll also have x, because we can't get rid of the x, so it has to be part of the common denominator. So I said let's multiply each term on both sides. So I have 4 over 3 minus 7 over x is equal to 1 over 6. I'll multiply each term by 6x. And then I cancel what's common in the numerator and the denominator, because this is now simplified to be 6x over 6. So I can cancel the 6's. This is now simplified to be 42x over x and 24x over 3. So I can simplify this to be 8. So I'm left with 8x minus 42, which is equal to x. I bring everything to one side. So I have 7x, which is equal to 42, and x is equal to 6. Then I can go ahead and check them by putting it back into the equation. 4 thirds minus 7 over 6 is equal to 1 over 6. 4 thirds. Multiply this by 2 over 2. So I have 8 over 6 minus 7 over 6, which is equal to 1 over 6, which is true. What is our lowest common denominator? Well, 2 and 3 both go into 12. So 12 is our common coefficient, and x. So I'm going to multiply everything by 12x. And then I'm going to simplify. So 12, the 12 simplify. 3 goes into 12 4 times. Oops, 4. So I'm left with minus 20x, because that's the negative 5 times 4x. And 2 goes into 12 6 times, and the x's also simplify. So we end up with 42 minus 20x equal to x. I'll bring my 20x over. Get 21x is equal to 42, so x is equal to 2. And then I can check 7 over 2 times 2 minus 5 over 3 is 112. 7 over 4 minus 5 over 3 equals 1 over 12. Multiply the top and the bottom by 3 over 3, 4 over 4. I get 21 over 12 minus 20 over 12, which is equal to 1 over 12, which is true. So we'll start this question the exact same way. What is our common denominator? It's going to be x plus 3, because this is a denominator of 1. And therefore, I can multiply each term by x plus 3. So we'll simplify. We're left with x plus 6 is equal to 2x plus 6, which is distributing here, minus 5x plus 12. So we can simplify that, x plus 6, which is equal to 2x plus 6 minus 5x minus 12, because the negative distributes. Then we have x plus 6 is equal to negative 3x and negative 6. I get 4x is equal to negative 12, and x is equal to negative 3. If I sub that back in, and I can see right away that when I sub that back in, if I put negative 3 into my denominator, I'm going to get a 0. And I can't have a 0 in the denominator because then the entire thing would be undefined. So we would say that there's no solution because x equals negative 3 cannot possibly be a solution. Pause right now and go ahead and do B. Next question. Same thing applies. We're going to find our lowest common denominator. We have a denominator of 1 here, so it's going to be x minus 2. It's common in both of the outside terms. And x minus 1, because we can't get rid of the x minus 1, so it has to be part of our common denominator. Multiply each term. And cancel what's common. So here, they're both going to cancel. We'll be left with plus 12. We don't have anything to cancel in the denominator, so we're left with 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 1. And on the left-hand side, we're left with 3x minus 1 and x minus 1. So we can distribute. We get 3x squared when we use our FOIL. The outer is negative 3 and the inner is negative 1, so we get minus 4x. The last is plus 1. If I distribute here, I get x squared minus 2 minus 1, so minus 3x plus 2, and then I need to multiply it by 2. So 2x squared minus 6x plus 4 plus 12. I'm going to collect like terms and bring everything to one side. So I'll get x squared plus 2x minus 15. Factor that. X plus 5, x minus 3. So I get x is equal to negative 5 and x is equal to 3. If I look, it looks like both of those are okay because they're not going to cancel in the denominator. So for the next question, it says solve by cross multiplying. That's the first thing I'm going to do. 3x minus 2 times x minus 4. I'm going to FOIL. I get outer is negative 12 and inner is negative 2. And 4x squared minus 12x. I will collect like terms. I'm going to bring everything to the right hand side because I like to keep my x squared positive. And factor. And I want to check, are those going to work? They are, because it's not going to make the denominator equal to 0.